Hello and welcome to the Full Advisor Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Kristen Herod. And today we are going to take a look at an alternative way to create your version 2.0 as you're looking ahead to what you want for your future and your firm. Today, I'm excited to welcome Michael Young. Michael is the president and managing partner of Integrated Advisors Network. He spent the last decade there helping independent advisors gain freedom and support to grow on their own terms. And we're going to get into what that means in this interview. Michael got his start in the financial industry over 30 years ago as a trader, and he's had an impressive career in multiple leadership roles. What I like about him is he describes himself as a professional plate spinner. So he oversees everything at the firm from operations to technology to strategy. And he's really driven by a goal of leaving things better than he found them. Outside of work, Michael's known for his backyard barbecue and low country boil. So I'm going to know about that. We're going to learn about that. I think that's what everyone's going to want to know most. And when he and his wife, Cindy, aren't hanging out with their yellow labs, they are seeking the perfect island setting. So again, I could do an episode on that. So Michael, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Kristen. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I can't wait to get into a little island talk.
Yeah. So let's first say, if you could live on an island for a year, where would it be?
Yeah, it would probably be one of the complimentary islands on the edge of Tortola. So in the British Virgin Islands.
Okay.
That's only reachable by boat.
Okay.
So once you're on island, you move by golf cart or maybe a small vehicle that's been there way too long. And then just kind of enjoy that island life. But you can get back to, the island of Tortola in 10 minutes or so by your dinghy, or grab a day charter and head over to Yoast and enjoy Yoast Van Dyke and all that, as I like to call it, the island pub crawl offers through British Virgin Isles. And so, yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. I have not been to the BVI, so I want to. I will put those on my list. My husband's been pushing the Caribbean, so we'll be checking out some things down there. What's a day trip for you? I'm assuming you're in Texas. So.
Oh no! So what I mean by day trip is once you're in the BVI family of islands, our typical MO is to have a base of operations on an island called Scrub Island, again part of Tortola's little grouping. And then we just day charter a boat and we'll go to Virgin Gorda for the day, or as I said, Yoast Van Dyke, or down to Cooper Island or somewhere there in the grouping, and just kind of enjoy a day as on a different island, on a different beach, but still, same vibes.
Okay. Wow. Okay. This is something we're going to take offline because I need more detail because I haven't yet been there. And let's just quickly touch on what is low country boil.
Yeah. So I'm originally from North Carolina. I grew up just north of Charlotte on Lake Norman, and the young side of my family is from South Carolina, and the low country of South Carolina is known for a low country boil. So it is a big pot full of potatoes, corn. We use artichokes, mushrooms, and then your primary protein is a sausage of some sort, but shrimp instead of here in Texas is crawfish. So I like the shrimp boil, add some crab from time to time, and then you get that wonderful flavor. You can use Old Bay. You can go into something a little hot, like, there's many of different kinds of boil type of seasonings that you can do. But get it all steaming hot and dump it out on a red and white checkered tablecloth and stand around and dig in and peel and eat all the shrimp and veg that you want.
Oh my goodness. All right. I'm coming over. That sounds fantastic. All right. Well, that's all we have for today then.
Yeah. We all want to go on vacation, have a little lunch.
I want to go on vacation and come over for dinner. Hey there, it's Kristen. Quick break. If you're enjoying the show and you want more, head on over to fulladvisorcoaching.com/resources. You can download the toolkits that I have there and join the free insider community. You'll be the first to hear about new trainings, fresh podcast episodes, and I share with you real-world strategies that I see working for advisors right now. That's fulladvisorcoaching.com/resources. Go sign up. It's completely free. And now, back to the show. Let's dig in here. Can you give us just a little bit about your background and what led you to team up, join, lead Integrated Advisors Network? That'll sort of set the stage for us today.
Sure. As you mentioned, I started my industry on the trading side, but actually a little before that, my first job in the industry straight out of school was in the operations department of a regional clearing firm here in Dallas. And I got the opportunity in 10 months' time to basically work every desk in the back. So P&S, bank reconciliations, margins, all the things that were done in the very early 90s, very manually, a lot of dot matrix printers, a lot of green bar, ticket, just a lot of things. And then I was lucky enough to go out onto the trading desk, became an equity trader, moved on into smaller firms, a little more entrepreneurial, but always more of a wholesale type of approach. So we were B2B, clients were larger Wall Street firms. And I built a market making operation up until the mid 2000s. Decimals came along and all of a sudden wholesale market making spreads weren't quite the same. So, you kind of reinvent yourself. And I bought part of an independent broker dealer at that time. And that's when I really started to apply the operating side plus the trading side and really got into supporting advisors that were going independent with, again, a regional IBD. We launched an RA inside of that in 2005. So that was my first exposure to the fiduciary side of the street. Okay. And then, I made really good friends with Jeff Groves, one of the founding partners of Integrated, around that same time. And then with that, he actually became my compliance consultant. And in late 2014, I actually joined his compliance consulting firm, not as a compliance consultant, but as more of an operational specialist to help with some of his BD and RA clients that were exploring, needs that from a FinOps standpoint and an operations standpoint and things like that. And he came to me, introduced me to Linda Pix, who is the other partner here at Integrated. So that's the three of us. And they had begun to work on the concept of Integrated as an extension of Jeff's compliance consulting business. Right. And because he was seeing clients that were coming to him to maybe start an RIA that probably were going to be great advisors, but not necessarily want to deal with the headache of the day-to-day running of your own registered investment advisor. So here we are 10 years after that.
So how would you describe what Integrated Advisor Network does for advisors? Like, how do you describe your network, your platform that you bring?
Yeah, so we are the registered investment advisor. We hold the ADV Part 1. Everyone joins us, so they tuck in underneath us as a DBA. And we provide basically everything but the client. So a practice or an advisor can come to us with different business models, from servicing mass affluent, maybe a planning forward type of practice that wants to outsource investment management to one of our partners, all the way to multifamily office type of advisor that is servicing a few families, needs to leverage our access to top-notch custodians, great technology, but they may have their own tax solution. They may be a group of CPAs, for example, that also do asset management. So, we provide all of those tools. So the compliance infrastructure, obviously, the technology, both from an office operating piece with an outsource IT partner, the full fintech stack. We're anchored with our InvestNet Tamarac relationship. So we leverage a lot of tools inside of that suite, from Money Guide Pro on the front end to Tamarac CRM, reporting, trading, leverage into the legacy InvestNet for UMAs with a bridge that they have built. So, and then we use other partners like Nitrogen. We leverage Precise FP. So we provide all of these tools to these independent teams as part of our service offering. And then we back that up with a very seasoned staff of industry professionals that are there for the escalation points to do the training. We're big believers in teaching to fish, and instead of just doing. And so that's kind of our offering in a nutshell.
Oh, that's great. And what I thought was really interesting, I met you earlier this year, and when we had our conversation and I was learning more about your firm, I found it really interesting just how you set it up, that established advisors who have built practices, gotten to a certain level of success, which is this is really the group of advisors I work a lot with, where they've achieved a certain amount of success and they get to a level where they're kind of at a crossroads where they need to make a choice about, where am I going to go? Am I going to try to scale and get bigger? Am I just going to hang out where I am and keep wearing all the hats and get try to juggle it all myself? Am I going to bring on a next generation person? What am I going to do? And so I like to, when I spoke with you, I thought it was really interesting that this option is available as someone who, because I hear over and over again from advisors, I love working with my clients. I love creating content and getting out and educating and sharing. I like, not everyone loves networking, but they like the relationship part of the business, but they are kind of running thin on managing all of the back-end compliance, even the investing in some point, like any of that type of thing. So I love that you have this solution. What are you noticing when people come, when they're reaching out to you or they're talking with you about these challenges or this particular crossroad? Like, what are you seeing?
Yeah, it's across the board. We speak to so many different styles of advisors, be it a wirehouse type of advisor that may be exploring running a business for the first time, and they know that so maybe it's a team, maybe it's two advisors and they have an assistant, and they want to be able to bring that staff because that's what they're used to having, but they've never run HR before. They don't know how to provide benefits. I mean,
Right.
they've not produced payroll. They may not have set up an entity, and they wouldn't know. They don't have the attorney to write the investment management agreement and things like that. So there's a lot of unknowns when it comes to starting your own business from that side. We've also we see certain advisors that are maybe have hit that scale to where they've been a state RIA and they now are getting ready to go federal, and maybe their compliance consulting relationship's going to change a little bit with it. You're not dealing with a single or maybe two state regulators. Now you have the SEC plus states with where your notice filing and so forth. And so it's bringing a complexity to their business that may take time away from what they typically do. So they're coming to us and saying, okay, I now see a place that I can still retain my enterprise value, because here at Integrated, we're not taking ownership in the advisor's practice. We are still putting their brand first and forward.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I love that about your model.
Yeah. And so we are here, we're big proponents of, they're your clients. If you are able to grow and see an opportunity to monetize or bring in a minority investor into your practice, that can be done because you actually still own your own business and they're investing in your economics, not Integrated's economics. And so long as we're all a good partner with that, that's something that creates an option for an advisor to still have that guided independence is kind of, I heard that term here this week, and I always kind of thought that was interesting. We've talked about supported independence, but I think guided independence is a little bit better descriptive of what we've done. And what we do on a daily basis. So
yeah, I would think so, because you're bringing in expertise, right, and guidance. It's not just, hey, what do you want to do? We'll support you. It's we have ideas, we have solutions, we have decades of expertise in working in this field with many different types of businesses and business owners. So I can see how this is a very viable option, especially for like a breakaway advisor who's like, I want to, I have my clients, I want to get out and have a little more freedom, a little more flexibility, and be able to do that. And that could be quite appealing in that way.
With the ability for an advisor to, again, maintain and grow their own enterprise value without us being in the way of that, but in supportive of that, we're big believers that our model and that our service creates a level of openness between us and those business owners, that when they do see the opportunity to potentially monetize, that they can work with us in partnership to do it. And maybe there is something that we can do internally with another team, or if there is a way that one of the, in your 2.0 type of conversations, one of the things that, we've seen other headlines around it, and it's something that we're launching as well, to where we have a captive brand that is different than integrated, that is going to bring in, next gen, younger, relationship driven advisors is what I would like to be able to put inside of this brand, hopefully here in the DFW area first. And lean into the trust that the advisors on our platform have built in our team to maybe do that succession plan or that monetization with us as the partner, and us to be able to retain that relationship, give them that off ramp to where they're still, they're then a fiduciary to their practice, to their family, but also to their clients, because we know the business, we know the way that they've administered to their clients. They're not potentially making a move that is a payday for the advisor, but it may change the service offering to their client, or maybe their junior advisors, part of their team over time. It might be, look all great on day one, but in year 3, as senior advisor is starting to get towards the end of their 5-year lockup, or got glide path off, and junior advisors now an employee, and clients have been inside of a larger brand or a larger aggregator, then maybe it's I hopefully we've been able, again, there's that hope word, hopefully we've been able to build that level of loyalty and depthness of relationship that our advisors will talk to us about it too.
Yeah, and I think the continuity for the client experience, and I know it would stay intact then. I think that's one thing I see from at least advisors who have built up a practice, and they're thinking, okay, I'm going to exit in the next 5 years, 10 years, and I want to make sure my clients are taken care of, and that they're not just, handed off to a mega or a conglomerate or private equity, or there's a place where the clients are just, transitioned over to someone they don't know and they're unfamiliar with. So I know that's definitely something that will be valuable. I think it's really interesting, this idea of the partnership and what you have to offer from kind of this, like, if you were an advisor, and you know that obviously from speaking with so many advisors, if you were considering joining a network like yours or another one of these outsourcing type options, we've talked a lot about it, like terms of benefits. What do you really see that's resonating with the advisor that makes them go, yes, this is the path I want to go? Is it primarily getting rid of the headaches, or is it something else?
I think it's a combination of the ability to access enterprise level solutions as a smaller advisor. So
True. Right.
obviously, that's a benefit that they're going to get, not just from our own team and our depth of experience, but also in dealing with the custodian, because they're coming into an organization that has a different service team type of relationship and has a different level of conversation. One of the things I like to describe ourselves is that integrated is kind of the Tower of Babel. We're the translator between advisor and custodian, because we can speak custodian, but we can also speak advisor. So that is
yes.
a place that, our experience kind of helps with. I also think that what resonates with our offering is that we are truly invested in the advisor's success. And what I mean by that is, one of our core tenets is joy as far as our culture. And so one of the things that we take away from each interaction with our advisor is knowing that we've delivered the answer. And the answer sometimes is no, but sometimes the answer is not no.
Right.
It's definitive as far as it being a yes, and this is the path forward, and this is how we accomplish it. And they've now been able to take that solution to their client. Their client's happy, the advisor's happy, our team is happy, and at the end of the day, we can go, toast to that day of success with a nice, painkiller, meaning the drink from Soggy Dollar Bar on US
exactly.
Bank.
Which island that is? Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I think that value of our investing in the advisor, in that relationship, is something that, that's a return on fun versus a return on investment. And so we are, since we're answering to ourselves every day, not to a equity backer of some sort. You have three owners of Integrated. You have three individuals that are invested in its success every day and the success of our teams. And I think that is a key differentiator of what we do. And that I think it attracts a certain type of advisor that wants to know that they're going to be able to focus on their client versus on growing their revenue exponentially to achieve some type of ROI for the home office.
Right, exactly. And I think another element that comes up when people are looking for this partnership, be it with, a firm like yours or one of the other solutions out in the world, is trying to improve their quality of life. I hear that a lot. Just the not wanting to carry the stress 24/7 of all of the parts of what's going on, and they really want to be able to go and enjoy life on an island somewhere and not have to be like, I have to make the trades. What about who's going to do the trades? What about this? What about that? I hear that a lot, where people feel shackled to the business. So in kind of one of the big driving missions of what I do is to help people find that fulfillment in the work that they're doing, because I do believe in the power of the work of, financial advice and working with clients and helping people see the value of using money to enable the life they want to live. I think that's really powerful, and it aligns well with your joy factor of hey, let's all find joy out in the world, including the advisors, right? And so having worked with so many independent advisors, many of whom started a business or have, been put into a business where now they're in a spot where they're trying to grow it and develop it and take it to the next level. I do know that many come in with that growth-minded aspect that also tends to have this quality of life desire, as well as a desire for truly helping people. And so the more that they're free and able and energetic to be able to do that, the better their outcomes. So I love how synchronous you are with that objective. So, that's one reason I did want to have you out here to talk about this, because I think it's really important. And as advisors are looking at these types of platforms like yours or solutions, where is it? Obviously you're gonna be biased for your own business, and I appreciate that. But what do they really need to scrutinize? What should they be looking for? from a just due diligence, trying to understand what kind of questions should they be asking about a service like yours to make sure that it is going to serve their needs and make their life better?
Yeah, I think conflicts of interest is one place to always really pay attention to. We're here on the RIA side, obviously as fiduciaries, there's a lot of transparency that we show to our clients especially in the conflict of interest space. And when I say that, it's like, okay, is the firm that you're looking to join, do they have an affiliated broker dealer? So is there, is it an accommodation for you to have mixed business? Or is there potentially a place that they're maintaining that relationship to drive profitability across their platform? So again, is it, where is the ROI coming from? Is there an insurance affiliation? How is the firm going to support your OBAs? So are you going to have outside business activities? How is their compliance department aligned in allowing that, supervising it? And how is the firm feeling if they don't have an insurance affiliation? Do they feel jilted that you're moving assets away? And is there a charge for that? So it's really kind of understanding your pricing and what the all-in thing is. Another place is, investment management. So is there a in-house CIO? Is there a team that is then doing that work that somehow the firm is making money somehow to pay those salaries? Are they big enough to really support that in-house? Is there enough scale and so forth? Or in our case, we've outsourced that to big asset management partners for certain solutions. But then there are certain advisors that, they've been in the industry a long time and have built a track record of running money well themselves. And we understand it, especially from where I came from, to be able to sit and provide a tool like Tamarack Trading to where their models can be built and we can streamline workflows for them and help them manage that, but also be able to monitor model construction and things like that from a compliance standpoint. So we're at least in the know of what they're doing. So it's things like that I think is important to be sure that you understand where a firm's loyalties lie.
Yes, of course. Yes, I agree.
What is the owner's exit plan? I get asked that question a lot by advisors or somebody joining. How long are you going to do this? What is your plan? Do you have a succession plan? Do you have a contingency plan, Michael? If being the plate spinner that you are, who's going to catch all those plates if something happens to you? And the answer inside of our organization is yes. And, we're building this to be an evergreen company, and that's really what we've focused on. So we're not trying to grab scale and sell, like others may be. And I think it's an important thing to ask. Yes, the three of us are professional managers. I don't run a book of clients per se myself. I have a few, but not anything that I focus on. I focus on our advisors, and my two partners are the same way. So that might be a different look at if you're joining a firm that are the principals engaged in still running clients, or are they focused on their advisors and building that platform? So
right. I think that's a really good distinction. And I don't know if I would have asked the question about what's your exit plan, but that's really important, especially if I, as an advisor, am aligning my future and my eventual exit plan with your company. I think that is extremely important to look at.
Yeah, it's a question I was asked at our annual conference. So we host an annual conference with our advisors every year to bring them together, since we currently have 38 practices in 16 different states. And so there's a lot of geographic dispersion in our groups, but there still is a lot of common thinking, a lot of culture sharing that we've really been able to foster since we started doing this first in 2017. It grew out of my backyard to where we now go to other locations. So it's nice when you can judge the growth of your firm of how many people can I fit in my backyard. Oh, Cindy says no more.
That's so funny. I love that. Yes. Yes. I'll say that conference sounds really, really valuable. And I love that you're bringing your advisors together and the firm owners together in that way. Yeah. You mentioned commonalities. What are the commonalities in kind of like mindsets or traits of people in your network that really helps them, that helps them take full advantage of what you have to offer? I'm just curious what the commonalities might be.
Yeah. So I look a lot at what is their investing style? What are they using a UMA? So is there if people are outsourcing investment management to a third party, is there a grouping that we can put together so they can actually talk about manager research together and who they've had success with at prior firms that they want to bring into our network? Alternative investments is a great place. We have a robust alternative offering that, again, we've curated with really good partners. And not every one of our advisors uses that, but the few that do, the handful or so that it is a big part of their asset allocation, I put them together to have a conversation about it. They're not competing against each other. They're now building their own internal study group of how to best serve their clients. And so it's really kind of looking at things like that, maybe where their referral sources are coming from. So a lot of firms will work with tax firms, CPA firms for referrals.
Right.
And so if you have a group in one part of the country that's working with one local there and one on the other side, maybe they can share business development or client activities, client appreciation events and things like that they can get together and just kind of share those marketing, that client retention, client relationship building approaches. So when you have, it just kind of the style of client means a lot, the demographics of the client. Maybe we've made kind of mentor introductions, have a more seasoned advisor talking to a younger one as well. So again, can talk about how to build an ensemble practice to a solo practitioner and where should they add staff. So those are the things that we really look for and try to foster as far as those introductions. And
yeah, I think that gets back to, again, when advisors are evaluating different options to pursue. I think a big question, as you mentioned, is what are the learning opportunities for them by plugging to a network or a provider? Where is it that they can get additional value or benefit from being a part of the organization versus just saying, hey, let me pay a fee and have some services? Where is it that I'm actually getting value that can help you with, growth and development and reducing stress, reducing freeing up time and energy? I think those are key things to be looking at. Now, Michael, I'd be remiss not to ask you about the industry, technology, and what you're seeing in the AI front. I feel like if I have an interview and I don't talk about that, people, we haven't really had one, have we? It feels like every advisor is always asking me about AI. So as you look ahead down the pike here and you're working with advisors, what are you seeing on the technology front? And are you accommodating or looking at AI in any way?
Yeah, so we have been using a tool ourselves to build our own operational procedure manual, a tool called Scribe, that really does a nice job. I will caution anyone that is looking at AI solutions to be sure that they do the vendor due diligence to make sure it hits all the proper security protocols, cyber protocols, things like that. So with Scribe, we have an enterprise relationship with them that has levels of compliance that redact the right information and so forth, and our information doesn't go into the machine and isn't learned off of. So that was the first tool and that's something we mainly have used in our home office, and shared with some of our advisor teams that have a lot of staff that do a lot of training for them to build training materials and things like that.
Right.
I think it has a really good place. We recently became a Canoe Intelligent customer as well, which brings in documents for alternative investments. So general partner type letters, capital calls, redemption notices, statements, to then feed into Tamarack. And
oh, wow. Okay.
That's our second. And then just recently, we've launched Copilot across our Microsoft environment at the home office to start to drive efficiency. So I think tools like that are here to stay. I think anything that helps with workflow, helps with efficiency. I think there are some great technologies out there for advisors to look at that are financial services specific, as far as meeting prep, client note taking, things like that are really good. We are reactive to our advisors on that front. Again, doing vendor due diligence, making sure they're not using a free version, things like that, to make sure that data stays where data needs to be.
Right.
And we've seen it inside of our partners. I know that Nitrogen has been a big proponent of AI tools for client engagement inside of their platform for a couple of years. Fidelity Labs is a very interesting place that is creative, that has created some very cool things coming out of there. I've been to a Fidelity Inside Track event and seen things presented from their team there as well. So it's definitely an evolving and growing space, and I think it is definitely here to stay. And I will continue to hammer home: be careful. Don't use the free version.
Right. I think that's very important to remember. And I think it says a lot when you see that, you're staying on top of it. You're saying, how can we use this to serve our advisors, to serve their clients? How is it that we can leverage the technology that's coming out? And I know people can get afraid of it. And I find it to be, again, do your due diligence, but the speed with which things are evolving, and then the amount of efficiency and assistance it can bring is really mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, I continue to be, wow, this is incredible.
Our firm, being smaller as far as home office staff, we stay very in touch with what is evolving with our partners to, again, drive efficiencies, so we can, again, drive those service solutions to extract some level of joy from what we do every day. Yeah.
Great. I think that's a perfect place to end. I love that word, joy. It literally makes you smile just saying it. So it feels so good. So advisors who are listening to this, where can they find out more if this is appealing to them, or they just want to take the next step?
Yeah. So our website, we have some curated videos that kind of describe our service and give you a little exposure to our core team. So that's integratedadvisorsnetwork.com. And they can reach out if they have any questions or want to learn more about us to info@integratedadvisorsnetwork.com. And either myself or my business partner, Linda Pix, will get back to you.
That's great. And I have had a chance to watch the videos on your site. So if you're wondering about the people behind the company name, you can find that all on their website. And we'll put that all in the show notes so it's easy to access. But Michael, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. I really enjoyed the conversation. I'm excited about what you have to offer for advisors who are looking for a different path than they're currently on. And I really appreciate you coming and sharing your story.
Yeah, I really thank you very much for having me. It's a great conversation. A lot of fun.
Great. And for advisors who want to get in touch with me, you can go to fulladvisorcoaching.com. If you want to have a conversation, just click that button in the upper right-hand corner that says request a call, and we can have a conversation about your marketing or business development needs. I'd love to chat with you. Until next time, go out and make it a great day, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for tuning in to Full Advisor Coaching, the podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please hit the follow button so you'll never miss an episode. To learn more about how you can become a part of the Full Advisor community, visit fulladvisorcoaching.com. Remember, stay connected and get notified as soon as brand new episodes release. Click the follow button now. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Kristen Harrod or Full Advisor Coaching.